Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody's having a lovely day. And with that being said, let's get into the TA. Guys, we got some exciting stuff to talk about today. Let's talk about it. We also had some exciting stuff to talk about yesterday. Guys, it's the market. It's exhilarating. Let's get it. All right, guys. So we did close out with decreasing volume on SPY, QQ, IWM, DIA. All right. All these things did close out with hammer candlesticks, but it was done off of that decreasing volume. Why? Because we had Apple. We had big boy earnings right after the close. All right. So market participants, they were on edge. That is most likely why we had that decreasing volume. But you did have Apple beating, and I am not saying Apple is going to be dragging this market up higher. I'm not going to say that at all because it is Apple, and you know, Apple doesn't really want to move the market too much recently. But I am definitely going to say this is nothing less than bullish. This is not something to be bearish about. You're all the way up here. You had the big boy Apple breaking out. Do you think that's going to be the end of the breakout? No. Maybe you give some of the gains back. Who cares? You're all the way up here. You're now above this zone right here. All right, see how sellers stepped in? See how sellers stepped in? Well, now you're above it. So if you come down into it, you're probably going to get buyers stepping in. You're probably going a little bit higher. Now, we will have this big, fat, nasty, juicy gap, a $10 freaking gap if you're going to open at where you are at right now, which is 183. If you do open up at 183, guys, that is a $10 gap. All right, I do not suggest you're sitting there going long off the open. All right, you can have a good time. It could be a gap and go. But you have nothing telling you that's going to be the case. All right? You don't know. And if I had to guess, you're going to do what you did over here on Goog. Do you guys remember this Goog prediction? You guys remember it? It went like that. It was when you were up there, it went like that. Okay? I understand. You're turning up before you come down here, but this is exactly what I'm talking about over here on Mr. Apple. I think you're going to come down and revisit a key pivotal spot, which is going to be the zone right here between 180 and 179. So watch it. Keep it on your radar. Let's actually extend that zone. We now know there were sellers stepping in over there. So guess what? You're probably going to now have buyers. They're going to want to flip that resistance into support. So that's what we're going to be paying attention to into tomorrow. Yeah, getting back to the indices, guys. Over here on Mr. SPY, SPY. You did close out the hammer. You are going up right now. Well, not right now, but, you know, earlier. In the after hours, guess what? You're stalling out right here at resistance. I am going to just say my opinion. I think we're going to still go up into this golden pocket, and that is where you stall out. I think you have a big boy sell right after you get into that golden pocket. Do you guys want to see what I'm going to refer to? It's over here. You see what happened over here. Guess what? It looks darn similar to what we got going on right over here. And so far, analog has not done me dirty. And I still do think this is going to be the case. Doesn't have to be the case, but with things that I'm looking at, it really is likely. You come over here to Mr. Meta. Daily RSI is still all the way down here. And this thing literally looks like it's establishing a range here. And it's going to be breaking up from that range. All right. You got that going on here. You got Microsoft over here. I'm not going to say, you know, it's the most bullish looking chart. I'm just going to say I think downside is limited. You know, there's only so much further you're going to fall here without getting your aggressive big boy bounce. You see what I see? All right. It could take some time, but do you see what I see? It's, you know, not really much to talk about here other than you have this downtrend. At some point, it's going to break. You're probably going to start pushing up to these levels. All right. So there's that. You got NVIDIA looking like a freaking monster. All right. This thing is something that likes to move the market. It loves to move the freaking market. Guess what? You had the breakout. You had the retest, golden pocket test, demand test, break and retest off this trend line. And now what do you have? You have the freaking right shoulder of the inverse head and shoulders. We told you if you broke out here and did that and retested here at the golden pocket, we literally told you. All right. On this day of this breakout right here, you do that. There's your right shoulder. Okay? Not much else to say. It's happening how we called it. That's that. And now I'm going to say this thing has the bullish picture that I thought would probably form if you got that pullback. You got the bullish picture. We're going to have to see how this thing closes out tomorrow. But guys, as long as you don't tank, you have a bullish look into next week. And that is something that I will be paying attention to. Nvidia, the big boy, looks really good right here. All right. So you just got all these things. It's just, you're probably not going to start just, turning up right now on Mr. VIX, which would be a turn down on the market. Guys, if Mr. VIX is going to turn up, I'm going to show you right now what to watch for. We pointed out this uptrend right over here. Break and retest. Guess what? We're going to take right here. You're discluding this whole blah right here. Okay. Why? Because the closing price is actually underneath this trend line. So we are going to we're going to say this is our downtrend here on Mr. VIX. People say you can't do TA on Mr. VIX. What do I want to direct your attention to right here? 65 line on the RSI. All right. People tell me you can't do TA and VIX. Well, why do we consistently see these conditions on the charts that I watch on other tickers consistently play out over here on Mr. VIX? Why? Because you can do TA on Mr. VIX. All right. You can. People tell you can't. They don't know what they're talking about, but guess what? I'm here. I'm going to open your eyes. So open them eyes. I'll open up for you. There you go. That's your downtrend. You do not get super bearish on this market until that at least breaks. There's no reason to. So, hey, promise me, you're not going to get super bearish in this market until this thing breaks. I'm not going to say we have a strong market. I'm not going to say that even in the slightest. All right? This is a whole bunch of, like I said over there on Mr. VIX, that candlestick, this is a blah. All right, there's a giant blob of price action that, quite frankly, is trappy. It is. It's extremely trappy. You know what? Here on the channel, I feel like we're not doing too bad of a job. Colin said price action. All right, guys? There are a few simple tools that I will use here on this channel that I think you should take note of. I think you should use these tools. I think you should use these tools. I don't want you to dive right in unless you believe in them. All right? So you're just going to watch these videos and you're going to see these patterns play out over and over and over and over again until you believe them. And then you're going to see them in real time and you'd be like, holy, what would Henry do? What would Henry say? Holy crap, this is what he was talking about. Yeah, guys, because it happens over and over and over again. So if you don't believe in it, all right, like I was just showing you the TA on Mr. VIX, I will open your eyes, just follow along. I guarantee you are going to, over time, see these patterns in real time on your chart, and you're going to be able to take action on them. All right, and what I was just saying, you're going to be like, oh, what would Henry think? You're not even going to have that thought. You're going to be like, your name's Frank. What is Frankie thinking? All right, what's Brandon thinking? What's Chris thinking? What's Jason thinking? All right, what are you thinking? You know why? Because you're going to develop that skill set. All right, you want it? It's there for the taking. Go take it. All right. We're really just watching this golden pocket, ladies and gents. That's what we're watching from this point on. You do have the gap up. You are trading around 507. Quite frankly, watch it level to level. You don't have the 15-minute bearish divergence going on yet. Okay. You had the 15-minute bullish divergence going on down here, suggesting that we are going to be looking for that, guys, $5 to $8 bounce. There you go. Just like we get the bearish divergence, you got the bearish divergence. What are we looking for? $5 to $8 sell. Well, where did we get that sell? Well, by the time it reached oversold territory, you got a $6 bounce. Guys, there you go. Now, what was the full move down? $10. All right. These are just the things that consistently freaking work. You consistently get these divergences playing out. You see a divergence coming into a key zone. All right, it's your line in the sand, and then you have a bunch of other factors, conditions that we definitely shared on this channel, suggesting you're probably not going much lower. Well, then you had a downtrend break. Well, perfect freaking picture. This is what I'm saying. In real time, you're going to see these things. There you go. But as far as tomorrow goes, guys, we have data coming out on 10. All right, the data is probably going to move us in one way or the other. My guess is going to be up. All right, complete guess, because, yeah, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We have absolutely no idea, but we can't put together these clues. And these clues, guys, are telling me I got nothing to be really bearish on right here. I just don't. I don't. You get above 507.37, you're looking for 510.75. That's going to be the high of this candlestick right over here. You get above there, you're watching for the golden pocket. In that golden pocket, guys, of course, we are looking for them sellers to step in. You think Permabull Henry is just a Permabull. No, Permabull Henry actually is secretly a bear and a bull. Yes, both sides tend to come out. All right. It's like that Split movie. All right. I got both of them in me, huh? I got both of them. There you go. Except no weird stuff. I ain't split. I promise. I promise. That would be, you know, if that's you, you do you. You rock. You rock, man. You rock. Or girl. Less than 1% of my audience is girls, though, so it's okay, guys. It's for the boys mainly on this channel. It's okay. Share with your female friends. Wait, we gotta increase those these not geographics. What is the word? Gender equality, guys. That is not the word I was thinking of, but that's what we're gonna say. Okay. IWM. What are we going to be watching for? Well, you did break above this golden pocket. You did end up having your seller step in right there, guys. Simple as that. Golden pocket test. Okay. Found bars. Found bars up to resistance. You saw you started selling. All right. Well, now you're expecting buyers down there. Why were you expecting buyers down there? Do you guys want to see a little golden pocket inception? Right there at the 0.786 fib. All right. And retest right there. Key level. And again, golden pocket test. You ran back up. You rejected at your golden pocket the first time, but you ran up and you knew once you surpassed 199.47, that's not the exact level. We'll just say 199.50. Once you passed 199.50, you knew 241 was very likely incoming. Now, what do I still think is incoming? 241. I think that is incoming. All right. And above there, we are watching for this golden pocket, 204 up to 207, for sellers to step in for that next leg down. You tagged it in the after hours, 240, 241. You see where sellers like to step in right there at the key level. All right. You break above there. You can see the same picture I got. Same picture. And what I'm looking at is bullish. All right. It ain't bearish. If you think it's bearish, I don't know what to tell you. All right. Like, yes, you can look at this as a giant flag, but I'm not going to look at it that way. I'm going to say you had this downtrend. You broke and retest that downtrend in the most possible bullish freaking manner. Golden pocket test, demand zone test, trend line back test. And now you're pushing up to the high. The fact that you just returned to where you sold off from shows strength. That strength suggests we're probably going to break out from here and probably go a little like that. That's what I'm looking for, ladies and gents. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not going to keep you up too much in this video. All right, we're going to make everything pretty clear. We're looking for the golden pockets. 435 to 441 over here on QQQ, SPY, which keep in mind, guys, you already did get sellers stepping up off of 433.71. So if you come up to this level, don't expect to go a lot higher than that level. That's where you expect sellers. Right there on the dot, 433.70 cents. That is 5 cents above our level. That is where we know sellers are going to be. Respect the level, and the level will respect you. There you go. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about some setups, okay? First things first, I already mentioned in the video, you got the inverse head and shoulder setup going on. I like it, all right? CELH, you're queuing up to do some crazy things, and I think you're going to do those crazy things. We talked about it in yesterday's video. Now it's testing that downtrend. You got a break from that downtrend, and now you're really smoking. All right, you're smoking hot, you're piping hot. You get something like that, maybe you get a little pullback before earnings, and then you're off to the freaking races. Now, hopefully they don't gap you up on earnings, because I think we're going to have an opportunity to play a nice little freaking big ripper like that if we don't get that. Because quite frankly, this is a sexy break and retest setup. I've been watching it for a while, and the only thing that has me not in calls right now, like heavy in calls, is that guess what, guys? Earnings, all right? Premiums, juice to the gills. There you go. All right. Bitcoin bottoming, I think, not going much lower. Coin falling wedge into your demand zone. All right. Golden pocket right underneath, but I don't think it's going to hit that. I think it's about to go. I think it's about to go kapooey. Again, with these freaking premiums, guys, the premiums, all right, are juiced, but now they are no longer juiced because earnings has now crushed those premiums. And now I do think we are going to have a chance at a rally. All right. Speaking of Mr. Raleigh, Mara stepping up from the golden pocket. These are just one of those things that I was just talking about. Hey, all right, you see me do them enough times, you're going to start doing them because you believe in them, and then you can trust them and you can successfully pull your triggers off of them. And there you go. All right. Golden pocket test. Found the buyers. You're approaching that trend line again. All right. I do think you're going to get a little breaky. There you go. You got the false breakout. We're literally just going to extend it out there. Okay, guys? You don't have to make things complicated. I heard from I'm not going to call this man a wise man. I know people are going to know who I'm talking about. I haven't watched him in a very long time, but I'll tell you, I heard from a man one time on these YouTubes that trend lines like to expand. Trend lines do expand. So we just expanded that trend line. There you go. Shout out Mr. Ron Walker. I hope you're doing well. You definitely don't watch my vids, but hey, all right. I'll tell you one thing. I go back and forth instead of just calling for a crash all the time. Yeah, maybe you can give me your indicators and I can use them a little better. I don't know. All right. Yeah, I'm not one to talk any crap, guys. I don't talk crap. I think it's so funny. I think it's funny. All right. But you know, if I'm remembering correctly, hey, he's got indicators that, you know, other people just don't have. I don't have these indicators. I have to rely on price action. Oh, woe is me. Nope. That made me get to where I am right now. And I'm going to be quite honest, guys. I like how things are looking. Guess what? Mara, this is a massive pennant. This thing looks like it's getting ready to explode. You got earnings right around the corner. I don't think anything's going to happen off those earnings, but I do think you're going to start a bid off of here over on Mr. Mara. All right. Next one, we're going to be talking about Baba. All right. Baba boys might be back. Broke over resistance. On the weekly chart, this has an inverse head and shoulders formation right there with the neckline being right up there. 78, around 78, we're going to call it. You did have your breakout this week. Bullish Baba on freaking deck. Bullish on the pullbacks. I want to see the pullback because I am not buying that. But yeah, I think it's getting ready. All right. And PLTR, we'll talk about it. Someone asked me how I remembered Netflix right at the end of the video. I did remember you. Don't you worry. All right. PLTR, guys, I think this thing is queuing up. Similar situation over to CELH. Only reason I don't, want this thing right now is because earnings, premiums, guys. If you do not have a sick, nasty gap up, which this is one who just loves to gap up. So I do think you're probably going to have that sick, nasty gap up. Past 4 in a row. Not 4 in a row. 3 out of 4 have resulted in gap ups. Gap up, gap up, gap down, gap up. All right. Gap up. We're going to say 4 out of 5 last earnings. You've had a gap up. I would say PLTR is probably a solid bet coming from down here. If you got money you're comfortable throwing away, I think I told you guys the same exact thing over here on Carvana. Same exact thing. Guys, do not put money on this. You can't lose. All right. But if you are a gambler, I will give you the gambles on this channel that I think will be worth it. Carvana was one of them. All right. Carvana has now went crazy. The 100C was going for 270 at yesterday's close. 285, I think actually was. Well, now, guess what? It closed at $1,600. What gain is that, guys? That is a crazy 5 to 6x gain. Congrats if you got that. D-King's another one. Fresh breakout. You had the earnings. All right. You had the earnings. Guess what? Breakout. This thing's probably going to keep ripping. All right. Maybe it pulls back because I see earnings miss, but I'm going to tell you right now, I think this is a sexy setup. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think you're probably going to continue higher. And let's see what we're going to be watching for. Golden pocket, baby. Golden pocket up here. 45.60 all the way up to 47.40 up there. Boom, bop, bing, boop, pow. Oh, another example. Golden pocket in full effect. There you go. All right, guys, that is all I have for you today. I hope everybody has a lovely night, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Exciting day tomorrow. Let's see what we get, guys. If we close these weekly candlesticks out like this, honestly, I have to assume we might get some more upside into next week. All right, guys, you don't just go straight down. You're going to go down, and then you're going to go up, and then you're going to go down again, and then probably up one more time, and then you go down. We're looking for this exact same thing to happen over here. I don't think that's all the bounce row. I think the bounce going to get up here, and then I think we're going to have another leg. But with how things are positioned, yeah, I saw a post on Twitter the other night, right? Post on Twitter. How does it go? All right. Bulls are stupid. That's how it was, and I was like, gosh darn, I guess I am stupid sometimes. I'm an idiot sometimes. I fully admit that. But I will also say, that post did end up making a really freaking good point. All right, really good point, guys. Bulls are stupid because, well, they're not stupid. I can see his viewpoint, but I'm going to agree with the point that he made right after, which was the further you go up, the bears are stupid because they don't want it to go up. Well, guess what? The further you get on this bounce, the more downside you have incoming. The lower this bounce, the less downside incoming. This is exactly my viewpoint, guys. This is why when we were sitting down here, I was saying, hey, you're probably getting more of a bounce because if you fall from here, you're not going much lower. You're going to bottom out, have a major bottom over here on 408, previous all-time high over here on QQ, and then you're not going to get this playing out. I want to see this play out. I think it's going to play out. So we're going to get this. You're probably getting one more here, and then you're going to go down here, and then I don't know what happens, all right? I really don't, but, I don't think. I think you're eventually making it all the way down here. And if you fall from right here, you see where this daily RSI is down here? You just don't have a lot of juice left in the tank, guys. You just don't. You just don't. But guess what? VIX is it's coming right down to the same spot. It ended up bottoming it before. I'm not talking price. I'm talking this oscillator. Why are we watching the oscillator? Because as you can see, VIX continuously respects this thing over price. All right. Yes, there's the zone here and it's been selling off at. Again, you can't do TA on Mr. VIX. Yes, you can. All right. What I think it respects the most is this oscillator right here. We look for them 15-minute bullish divergences. We look for them hourly bullish divergences. We look for the daily RSI to spike up to 65, and that's when we look for VIX to crush. And when it crushes, that is when we can get that sell-off on the indices. But if it's all the way up here, what the heck are you looking to happen other than a crash? Nothing. You're looking for a straight crash, and if the crash doesn't happen, it gets crushed. And if you're in poots, the poots gets crushed. All right? So that's why when we're up here on Mr. VIX, up here, I'm always going to say, I think downside is limited, and I think the risk reward right now is going to be on the upside. Okay? You can get some more downside, but I think it's going to be limited. Why? Because VIX likes to crush down here. Or up here, I should say. And if it does get crushed, that means the indices are going to rally. Just like we have now seen. All right, VIX, I want to say it was probably up there starting over here on this big red day. Let's actually see. All right. There you go. You topped out over here, 15th. All right, 15th. Where was the bottom? All right. The 15th was, it was on the big fat red bar, right? And then, you did go further down. I ain't going to deny. Then you popped right back up. And in the end, if you just gave it 2 weeks, you'd actually be up $7 more than the close of that candlestick when VIX ended up spiking, all right? Which meant if you bought enough time, we're talking a lot of time, you didn't experience any theta, you actually did end up making some money. And you literally suffered all of this downturn right here. All right, guys? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys do enjoy the videos. I enjoy making the videos. I have a jolly good time talking to y'all. All right? And talking about these charts. I do. Mr. Tesla is one I actually did not mention, guys. You see that alert? I think it's going to come right here. I think you're going to bounce. Snow is another one I did not mention. You have this inverse head and shoulders floating. If you come down here, I'm hella interested. Very interested right down there. All right? Kava, another one. Break and retest off this level right here. You see my alert. It did not get hit because you respected that one instead. All right? So let's take off these other guys. We know what's being respected. There's that. All right, guys. Now, with that being said, I'll catch you all in the next one. Everybody have a lovely rest of their night, and peace.